Mark Chaffey in the house. What is happening, my man?
Oh my God, this is like all my favorite people in HR tech getting together and dancing. I'm so here for this. This
Dude,
is
come
the
on.
energy
I
I
want to
came
see
for.
your dance moves.
Do I not get the little music coming back? Come on, like we going a
Come on.
cappella dancing. What are we
Production,
going for?
production. Let's bring it back. Oh yeah, outcome-based pricing. We're gonna talk about what,
That's a
what is
segue we came for. That's a segue we came for.
that is right. That is right. Why don't you give us a quick intro, Mark? Who are you? What do you do? What is Hack a Job? Why don't you get us up to speed?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Mark Chaffey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HackerJob. HackerJob's a business that we founded 10 years ago now. Crazy that it's been 10 years. And we are a global hiring platform for tech workers. So we help predominantly larger organizations engage, source, screen, hire technical talent, whether they be perm, contingent, across the US, India, and the UK. I'm in New York today. We've actually just moved offices,
Amazing.
which is exciting. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So you guys just made a huge announcement about outcome-based pricing. So why don't you get us up to speed? Like, what is that? Where did it come from? And I love it, by the way. And I got some questions about it. But why don't you get us up to speed on what exactly that is?
Yeah, well, maybe a quick history lesson for those listening. If we think about since recruitment's come online, the different ways that vendors have tried to monetize, it's been really interesting, right? Initially, we had job boards, Monster, etc., where you would spray and pray, right? You would like post an application up there and just pray that you get, relevant people come in. Then you had the programmatics come along and Indeed, and they, tried to do the cost per click model, and more recently the cost per apply model. And I think the challenge with all of these models is it doesn't necessarily align the value that the customer is looking for with the value that you deliver. And I think this has just become even more exaggerated in the last 18 months with all of the AI apply tools out there. And, I spend the vast majority of my time with customers. All we hear from customers is that we're inundated
Yeah.
with mostly completely irrelevant applications. And, is there a better way to do it? And so I think that the whole industry is going to be here in the next 12 to 24 months. I don't think customers are going to be willing to pay for noise, pay for irrelevance. So we took the bold decision last week to launch what we call outcome-based pricing, where on HackerJob, our customers will only ever pay for a qualified and engaged candidate. And we can get into more about what that means.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, because I hear that a lot, right? Like qualified candidates. So, like, how do you break that down? How do you ensure that? How are you thinking about, talking about the AI apply tools? I think that the automatic apply tools are one tool, but I'm also seeing these resume builders, and the tools seem to be getting smarter where they can match up things. So how do you approach that? Those types of nuances.
Yeah, great question. So there's three layers to our kind of qualified and engaged process. At firstly, a candidate will sign up to HackerJob, and they're only allowed to have one profile. So
Yeah.
we instantly get rid of this challenge where you have a custom resume based on the job description that's generated by AI. And when they sign up, we qualify them across three different vectors. So we have their job fit qualification. This is understanding stuff like your visa status, your salary expectations, your location preferences, your seniority, your education background. We'll then have a technical validation where we're understanding what are the technical skills that this individual has, where do they have demonstrable experience of that. And then there is an optional DE&I questionnaire that about 80% of our users complete, which gives us D&I data across 7 different categories, including neurodiversity, gender, ethnicity, veteran status, etc. So that's kind of level one of the qualification, right? Which already you know so much more about a candidate than what you would do on a LinkedIn and Indeed, etc.
How
Layer two in the
quick question. How do
oh,
you get people, like, willing how are people willing to give this information up? Like, how do you get them to give this information up?
yeah, it's a great question. It's something that we've A/B tested a lot. We now have like a 78% completion rate from somebody starting this process to finishing this process. So it's pretty good in the grand scheme of things. And I think the reason being is if you look at HackerJob, it's all about candidate experience. Once you put this effort in up front, which you can probably do in under 10 minutes, you then sit back and you don't apply for jobs anymore. Companies apply to you. And because we flipped that model, right, where actually you're not just sending out hundreds of irrelevant applications, and because we've got so much data on what you're looking for, you're only getting pitched by really relevant companies. So the kind of engagement and the relevancy creates this incredible candidate experience where candidates reply to 90% of the messages they receive and
Yeah.
they accept 70% of the messages they receive. So because we've done a lot of work on the candidate experience side post sign up, people are willing to put that upfront effort in.
I love it. I love it. Makes sense. So you got that first tier, and you're about to get into the second tier of qualifications here.
Yeah, so second tier is where it gets really exciting with Hacker Job Intelligence, which is our LLM based matching platform. So we've been able to fine tune some of our own language models over the last kind of 18 months. We've got more than 50 million unique data points on our users, jobs, companies. And if you think about what an LLM is, it just means a computer can understand natural language and can reason in natural language. And if you think about how us as humans, as us as recruiters kind of read a resume, right? We're always adding so much more context behind what somebody is saying. You know, when somebody says, hey, I was the first senior software engineer inside this organization, responsible for end-to-end deployment, et cetera, I'm adding a lot of context into that. And so Hacker Job Intelligence will then reason with you why this person is a good fit based on your requirements. So you have the explainability piece in there, which is really, really important. Like to me, explainability in any kind of matching system is really key. And
So
then go for it.
I was gonna ask you. So where did this idea come from? Like, if you had, is this from like existing clients? Like, where do you think this kind of need came from?
For Hacker Job Intelligence specifically, we've always been kind of this belief of like humans and machines in the recruitment process. Like you've got to leverage both. And what do humans do really well and what do machines do really well? Or computers do really well. And our view is that computers just are unbelievable or are at processing large amounts of data and reasoning with that. The challenge has been that online recruitment has just relied on keywords. I just stuff my resume full of keywords. A
Yeah.
system will match me based on those keywords and come back to you. We ran an internal hackathon about 18 months ago now, after ChatGPT hype, and saw that actually now you can match talent to jobs far beyond keywords because LLMs can reason natural language. So, a computer can now read a resume like a human can and reason back to you. And that's really interesting when you get into some very specific use cases, because if you speak to any internal recruiter, when they do tech sourcing, it is just stuffing full these keywords, but there's always new languages, there's always new tools, there's always new frameworks. Hack Job Intelligence is able to join the dots. So let's say I'm looking for a machine learning engineer with cloud computing. Hack Job Intelligence might surface a candidate that knows AWS SageMaker. You never said you were looking for that, but it can reason that AWS is a cloud computing tool, SageMaker is an ML tool. You blend those two together, this candidate's a good fit for the role. So you're able to discover talent in ways that you weren't able to with computers before.
How important would you say, like, for recruiters, you still need to be a subject matter expert, right? 'Cause like, how important is that? Does it become even more important in this age?
I think that it is going to become less important, and I
Oh,
think
okay,
that,
okay.
but hear me out on this. A subject matter expert in the domain in which you recruit, and why I say that is two reasons. One, there's just more pressure on TA teams than there ever has been. We live in this kind of boom and bust world of TA, right? Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been in big demand, furloughed, big demand, laid off, etc. I think to protect ourselves, we need to be more. We need to be able to be more versatile. I think the same is true of perm and contingent hiring. I was just literally on the customer right before this call, and they were talking about we want total talent management. Per man contingent falling under TA, contingent shouldn't sit under procurement, which we absolutely believe in. And I think tools like Hacker Job Intelligence can turn a non-specialist tech recruiter into a good amount of knowledge. Now, where do I think, Joel, we absolutely have to double down as subject matter experts is in the job, in the company, the hiring manager, because the human-to-human relationship with the
Yeah.
candidate is going to be more important than ever. And you need to have a really compelling pitch on why, somebody that's in high demand should come and join your organization. And I think that's where we're going to need to double down as subject matter experts.
Yeah, so more emotional intelligence, understanding people, understanding the team, understanding the people versus just the keywords and that, because I mean, obviously, the tech's gonna take care of that.
Yeah.
Um, so you're gonna be interviewing with the one and only, Hung Lee coming up. Tell me about that interview. When is it coming, and where can people find, info on that, and what are you guys gonna be chatting about?
Yeah, so it's this Thursday. It's 10 a.m. ET, 7 a.m. PT, 3 p.m. for our friends over in Europe. It's fun doing this globally, isn't it? I have no idea what time that is in India. I'm sorry. Um, and so look, Hung's a legend. I've known the guy for 10 years. And we actually, were chatting yesterday about what we're going to talk about. We're going to do reviewing Hung's 2024 predictions, of which he got none right. So he's going to go into the fact that he got none of his predictions right, which is great.
Wow.
But it's a bit more nuanced than that, but that was his statement. Um, He's such a funny man. We're going to be talking about crabs, and I'm not giving away the sneak peek there, but we're going to be talking about crabs. But actually, more interestingly, is we're going to be talking about with the rise of a lot of these AI tools, does every online vendor effectively become a staffing agency? And Indeed obviously made that announcement. I don't know what it was, 6 months ago now, 7 months
Yep.
ago, where they're looking really big into staffing. LinkedIn's looking into staffing, and it was interesting. Doug, the CEO of Adzuna, when we launched outcome-based pricing last week, was like, "Why are you not charging at the higher level? Why are you at this qualified candidate level?" Which we've got some thoughts on. So we're going to be digging into that a lot, which I think is a really interesting hypothesis from Hung. We're going to be looking at different pricing models for 2025 and what Hung predicts will happen. And then just where do we land from a macro perspective, right? If we're all crystal balling, it's obviously been a funky 24 months. What does next year look like? We have a little bit more stability, hopefully, across Europe and the US from a political landscape. So, does that give us a little bit more confidence? So it's going to be fun. We've had over 550 people register already,
Amazing.
which is our biggest LinkedIn Live so far. So, yeah, definitely join it if you haven't already.
And that's going to be, is that going to be on the Hackajob page? Is that going to be your page? Whose page is that on?
It'll be hosted on Hackajob, myself, Hung, and Samba 2, our legendary VP of Talent Solutions as well. So, yeah, any of us, you can come onto our LinkedIn and you'll see it there.
All right. Right. So where can people find out more about Hackajob, and where can people connect with you, Mark?
Yeah, hackajob.com. We've got a whole piece in there about outcome-based pricing, so definitely check it out. We offer completely free 30-day trials to test the solution. There is no strings attached whatsoever. So we'd love to give people the keys and hear feedback. And then I am most active on LinkedIn, so hit me up on LinkedIn. Always
You're
getting
on
some news.
Snapchat too. Don't lie.
I wish, dude. I wish I was young enough to be on Snapchat or TikTok, man. Instagram Reels. I'm here for the
Yeah.
millennials, man. I'm not cool enough for Snapchat or TikTok,
It's all
unfortunately.
good. It's all good. All right. Well, Mark Chaffey is in the house. Go connect with Mark. Go look up Hackajob, and stay tuned for that interview with Hung Lee, December 5th. All those time zones we mentioned. I'm not going to repeat them again. But go sign up for that live. I can't wait to see what those predictions are, what you guys are talking about. And Mark, it's been a pleasure. We will talk to you soon.
Joe, you're a legend. Appreciate it, man. Chat
All right,
soon.
brother. Take care.